So this skater had a slow burn to the start of his career, but by the time he hit his prime, boys, oh boys, oh boys, was he successful. Part of the Boston Bruins legacy team, mini dynasty of the 70s, big part of the WHA jump ranks or superstar ranks that went from the NHL to the new league. And this guy basically inspired a lot of his teammates, a lot of his community members to seek out a better path in their sporting career, because when you come from High River, Alberta, he basically put that community on the map. And since then, High River has been known for producing some great athletes of all sports. But he was sort of the standard bearer for the 1950s era on. So today we're going to talk about the great Johnny McKenzie. Now, John Albert McKenzie played in the NHL for a number of seasons. Again, mostly with the Bruins, who won 2 cups, and also the WHA for several teams over its whole length of play. Now, McKenzie's former teammate Jerry Melnick once dubbed the young player Pie Face for his resemblance to the cartoon figure of the same name. Now, that cartoon figure was on a popular Canadian candy bar, was later shortened to Pie, an affectionate moniker he had for several seasons. Now, he came to major prominence playing junior hockey for the outstanding St. Catharines Teepedes of the OHA and led the league in goals and points in 1958. Now, with the Calgary Buffaloes, that's where he started his WCJHL career. Later went on to Medicine Hat Tigers, then to Nanton Palominos of the FHHL. Calgary Stampeders as well as WHL in 56. Now with the TPs in 57, he had 70 points, including 20 more points in 14 playoff games. 58, he had 99 points in 52 contests. Now 59, his first season with Chicago, he put up 7 points and also saw some time with Calgary again of the WHL. Now, the following season, he moved on to Detroit Red Wings, where he lasted 2 years. Unfortunately, he was demoted again to the minors and spent 3 seasons getting back to the NHL by being very consistent with the AHL in the Hershey Bears and Buffalo Bisons. He was named to the league's first All-Star team in 63, but eventually returned to the NHL in the Blackhawks in 64, but 2 years later played for the New York Rangers for part of the 66 season, and halfway through during that campaign, he was traded to the Rangers' arch rivals, the Boston Bruins. Now, there was 3 links to the Bruins getting that level of success. Esposito arrived from Chicago, Johnny McKenzie arrived, and Bob Orr officially was signed to the team after being scouted by the Bruins from a 12-year-old up. Now, he wasn't the biggest player on the ice at 5'9", 170, but that 68 season was his most productive of his career when he joined the Bruins. On Boston's top 2 lines, he became a star in that campaign, scoring 28 goals and gaining reputation as a pesky, relentless hustler, or as what we call now the grinder style. He scored 29 goals each of his next 2 seasons and was named to the second-team All-Star squad for the NHL in 1970. In the playoffs that year, he scored 17 points in 14 games, 4th on the team after Bobby Orr, Phil Esposito, and the great Johnny Busick, and did so again in 72 towards a cup run. His best season was 71, where he scored 31 goals and 77 points in 65 games. All in all, McKenzie scored 169 goals in his 7 years in Boston and helped the Bruins again to those 2 cups in 70 and 72. Now, at the end of the 6th and last game of the 72 Stanley Cup Finals, when the Bruins defeated the Rangers at Madison Square Garden to take the cup via trio count, McKenzie skated to center ice, raised one arm in mimicry of the Statue of Liberty, placed his other hand around his neck to appear as though he was choking, then jumped up and down in a circle several times. Thus, he implied to the Rangers and their fans that the Rangers had choked at their best chance of winning their first Stanley Cup since 1940. This became known as the McKenzie choke dance, or simply the choke dance. Didn't endear him to New York at all. Some bad media reports about that, and some people called publicly for him to be banned from the league for life. Now, In the summer of '72, McKenzie eventually got disgruntled after being left unprotected in the expansion draft, and he signed as a player coach with the Philadelphia Blazers of the newly formed WHA. Now, in 13 games as a head coach, he recorded only 2 wins and 11 losses, and eventually stepped down as coach in favor of veteran Phil Watson. He continued to play effectively for the Blazers, then for the Fighting Saints, the Stingers, and finally the Whalers. He finished career in the WHA's final season in '79, having played 21 campaigns of professional hockey in the AHL, NHL, WHA, and other associations. Now, in 2007, McKenzie served as the coach of the Berkeley Ice Cats, the newly formed hockey team at Berkeley College of Music in Boston. Following that, he was a liaison for the hockey development at the University of Massachusetts Lowell. Now, unfortunately, he died in Wakefield, Mass. On June 9, 2018, at age 80, after a long illness. Now, great achievements and legacy. Now, he played in 477 WHA games, 7 all-time, with 413 points, left him 16th overall, 163 goals. Played in the NHL All-Star Game in 1772. Played the Summit Series for Team Canada in '74 against the Soviet Union, with a WHA loss 4, 1-1 and tied 3. His number 19 was also retired by the Hartford Whalers, making him one of only 3 players whose numbers was retired by the NHL franchise, for which he never played played for them. The other 2 being the great J.C. Trombley for the Nordiques and Fred Finnegan by the modern-day Ottawa Senators. In 2010, he was elected as an inaugural inductee in the WHA Hall of Fame in the Legends of the Game category. Now, let's just go over very quickly his WHA stats, and very impressive. 73, 28 goals in 60 games for the Blazers. 74, 14, and 45. 75 with the Vancouver Blazers, of course, 23 and 74. 76 in a combined season with Minnesota Cincinnati at 24 goals. 77 combined with Minnesota New England, 28 counters. 78 he had 27. And 79 he had 19. Full NHL totals, again, 474 points, 691 games, 206 goals. NHL playoffs, 47 points, 69 games. And WHA 29 points in 33 contests. Now, international at the Summit Series, 74, 235 in that campaign. And he also, ladies and gentlemen, coached for the Blazers as an interim in 74 with 3 wins and 4 losses. So again, player coach. Now, just as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking lately about borderline player for the Hockey Hall of Fame. This guy is very borderline. I really think if he would have stayed longer with Boston and not made the jump to WHA, but you got to look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at the stats for a second. 10 seasons with 20 goals or more. That alone is very impressive. 369 major pro goals, over almost 1,300 combined WHA and NHL regular season playoff contests. So, I mean, the stats are there. Now, if you're going to put an Esposito in, or if you put in Guy Carbonneau for the Canadians with only 2 cups, he was there defensively. He reinvented the grinder position. You look at Brendan Gallagher, you looked at Ken Linsman, players of that ilk, the owe a lot to Johnny McKenzie. And the thing is, he was always there, he was always producing. And you look at those 2 playoff runs where he was averaging more than a point a game, good playmaker, wasn't scared to take a penalty. You know, how many cups would Boston have won without players like Johnny McKenzie? That's the question. I'll leave the Hockey Hall of Fame to decide that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening. Give me a like, comment, or subscribe. Any comments are well appreciated. We can always improve our channel, so if you'd like to see podcasts done on certain players, please let us know, because we like feedback from you, the great listeners of this very special channel for NHL and WHA history as we see it. Have a good day.